Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I've got another indie brand palette to share with you, and I'm really excited about this one. I seem to be excited about all of these palettes because they're all so awesome. This is the Clueless palette by Peachy Queen. So, small disclaimer before I go any further, I tried to pull it up on their website so that I could tell you guys prices and everything before I posted this, but I couldn't find it anymore. So I'm assuming that means it's sold out and I don't know if it's coming back, but I wanted to go ahead and still show you guys just because it really is an awesome looking palette. Plus, this kind of will give you an idea of how their shadows work because they really do have a ton of great palettes on their website. A lot of fun bright colors and glitters and just kind of a fun mix. They have mermaid themed stuff and just all kinds of different colorful things. So, even if you can't grab this one, you may still want to go check out their website and check out one of the other palettes. So without further ado, the Clueless palette. So this is what it looks like, just traditional hot pink Clueless. It has all of the ingredients on the back. It is cruelty free. When you open it up, this is what it looks like. At first it kind of reminded me of the crayon case, probably just because of the yellow inside, but what they did was they tried to match it to the yellow plaid outfit that Cher always wears, and then these are the shadows. Look how gorgeous and colorful and bright these are. I almost didn't grab this palette because, I was like, okay, it's another big palette, it's colorful, and it kind of reminded me of the crayon case palette, which I already owned. But then the more that I looked at the pictures and I saw like all these glitter shades and these other really unique, it's got a lot of pinks to it, but there's awesome, blue glitters and this really strange, it's like greens and golds and a little orange. So it seemed unique enough, so I decided to pick it up. This was $40, and like I mentioned, I don't see it on their website right now. I'm gonna link their website below anyway, so you're more than welcome to go check it out. Maybe it's something that they will bring back in stock, or there's always the possibility that they might not have gotten the licensing to make a Clueless branded item, so they might have gotten kind of like shut down. But like I said, this way you can see how the shadows work. And if you want to check out their website, they have a ton of other great eyeshadow palettes. This is a really cute one that they have. It's a mermaid palette. It looks like little scales. So that's super cute, and that's $32. So I don't want to swatch the whole palette because it's 30 eyeshadows and that would take forever, but I will just grab a couple of them. So let's see, I want to do this shade. Oh yeah, that's the other thing, the shade names. The shade names are super cute. You've got As If, Beverly Hills, Dope, Daddy, Matchmaker, and then you have like all the characters' names. You have Ty, Cher, Josh, Amber, Dion, Rolling with the Homies. All just, very Clueless-esque, either names or phrases that they said, things like that. So, okay, so let me grab a couple. I'm gonna grab Dope. Let's see, let's try the yellow. We'll do As If. I've gotta do this color, which is Tardiness. And let's do Closet, because that's a really pretty pink too. So let's see here. So that is what those look like. So the mattes look like they might need a little bit of building, but again, that's nothing that you can't fix with blending a brush. The yellow is a little light. I'm gonna show what a second layer would look like. So that's the yellow with a second layer. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a look for you guys. If you want to see more looks, just let me know and I can post something on Instagram or film a follow-up video if you want to see other colors. All right, I'm starting out with a fluffy brush into the shade Full On Monet, and I'm gonna use this all through the crease. It's really light, but it can be built up. Next up, I'm going into the shade Buggin with a little bit more of a tapered fluffy brush, and again, I'm going to put this all through the crease and start kind of flaring it out on the outer V. Next up, I'm using a really small tapered fluffy brush and going into the shade Josh. And this color, I'm going to focus more directly into the actual crease itself. And then also just darken up that outer V a little bit as well. And then back in with that fluffy brush into Full On Monet and just kind of blend the top portion to make sure it's soft. Now with my Tarte Shape Tape, I'm going to cut out the crease, and I'm actually going to do the full lid, kind of a rounded lid all the way to both edges. Then I use my finger just to kind of pat off any excess concealer. Now with a flat brush, I'm going into the shade Way Harsh. This is a dry brush, and I'm just going to pack this color all over the first half of the lid. And then I'm going to flip the brush over and go into the shade Tardiness, and this color is going to go on the outer half of the lid. They're almost identical, it's just a very subtle change, and then I kind of am making sure they mix in the center. Now with a flat angled brush, I'm going into the shade Dion, and I'm gonna do 2 really heavy layers on the lower lash line. And then with a pencil brush, back into buggin, and I'll use this just to kind of smoke out that lower lash line, making sure it connects to the outer V. Now I'm using a very tiny flat angled brush and going into the shade Platforms, and I'm going to use this just to kind of add a little bit more depth to the outer portion of that lower lash line, making it a little bit thicker on the outside and tapering it in only about to halfway across the eye. And then I'm going over the top of that with Way Harsh just because this blue is a little too purple, so I needed to kind of make it tie in with the top. And then of course just adding some winged liner with my Stila Stay All Day liner. Then for highlight, I'm using Mr. Hall and just kind of dragging it up to meet where the crease color starts. Now I'm taking some Too Faced glitter glue on that same tiny flat brush from earlier, and I'm just going to add a nice little line right underneath that black wing. And then I'm going to use the glitter shade, which is Share, the beautiful blue glitter, and just pack that glitter on top of the glitter glue, just as a nice fun accent. Next up, just curling the lashes and adding some bold mascara. This is the Butter London brand. And then I'm just filling in the waterline with some black liner. And to finish it all off, just adding some lashes. And there you go, it's the finished look. So I know I said no swatches, but I did want to show you guys what all of these colors looked like on my arm. I'm not going to go through names or anything, but this way you can see how beautiful all these colors are. So yeah, these are all the swatches. You know, I figured that way you can really get a feel for how these shadows work. You can definitely tell that some of them come off a little lighter than others, like this purple Rolling with the Homies and this pink RSVP. They just came out a bit more sheer than the other mattes, but not all of them were like that. Some of the mattes were super pigmented off the bat. The other thing I noticed is some of them came off like a slightly lighter color. Like for example, this shade Josh. I expected it to be a bit darker than it was, and it was still beautiful on the eye, but it wasn't the tone I was expecting. Same thing with Dion. I didn't expect it to be as pink as it turned out, but still, it was a really pretty shadow, and I'm really happy with the look I ended up with. So, the glitters are fun to work with, you know, whatever they've got in them to kind of make them easier to use. It's some kind of, you know, binding agent. It really makes them want to stick together. So for me, I think that would be great for if you're trying to like pat it across your lid, you can kind of drag some on and add more. But doing what I did with a small brush, it can get a little tricky because it kind of wants to just add chunks to your brush. So what I was doing, if you didn't notice, was just kind of putting a little bit on the back of my hand. Like if I dipped it in the pan and it had a lot of chunks on it, I would just kind of wipe the brush off on the back of my hand so the glitter would just stay there and then work, and I would just grab it off the back of my hand. And that worked just fine because I was trying to, you know, have a little bit more of a precise line here. So the glitters are actually really fun to work with, and you know, they had a lot of really fun colors and they're super sparkly, definitely fun. So yeah, hopefully this gives you a good impression of this Peachy Queen brand. Like I said, they have tons of palettes out there. If you can't get this one, if they don't bring it back, even though it's Clueless and it's so much fun and so much nostalgia, but if they don't bring this back, I definitely would still recommend checking out the brand. I believe most of their other palettes were in the $30 range, so that is incredibly affordable. It's a great deal for, you know, a palette of this size of like 30 shadows, especially if you get a mix of these fun colors and glitters. I think they even have little small like 6-pan palettes that are all glitter. So if you want to try out some glitters, that would be really fun to do. So I definitely have to recommend the Peachy Queen shadows. I mean, I really enjoyed working with them, and they are such fun, vibrant, beautiful colors that they throw together in these palettes. So definitely, I recommend it completely. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this little review and tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you go, and thank you for watching. Bye guys.